Hello and welcome to our channel. We're Jojo and Scott. We live in the Highlands of Scotland. In August last year, we took on a big challenge. We bought a bright yellow van ready to turn into a camper. It's been a much bigger job than we expected, from ripping out the filthy interior, scrubbing away at the grime, to finding some nasty surprises. It's been a hell of a ride, with loads of ups and downs. We'd love for you to join us on this journey as we take a filthy ex-fleet vehicle, strip it back to the basics, and build up a tiny home on wheels. Thank you so much for watching. From the stunning views in Tuscany, to the dramatic hilltops of Greece, the idyllic beaches in southern Turkey, and the freezing cold mountains. Our van has kept us warm when it was well below freezing, and it has safely carried us many thousands of miles. And it's time for us to give you a tour. Hi there!
Hello!
We're Jojo
And Scott.
and we've spent the last year converting this 2015 Ford Transit into a camper.
We're from the Highlands of Scotland and we're now here in Tuscany.
So let's show you around our van. So I think we'll do the tour in a kind of the way you'd do a house tour. An important thing for me when we were building the van was to get kind of areas that we do things, so like you'd have rooms in a house. So we will start with the van kitchen. So over here we have my pride and joy, and this is our oven slash grill slash 3-burner hob. So the thing I really like about it is it's got this quite solid glass cover, so it doubles as counter space if you're preparing food and things. And then you lift this up. We've got one large and 2 small hobs, so you can have at least 2 pans on the go, maybe 3 if you're feeling adventurous. The oven itself also doubles as storage. We can store spare bowls and things in here. It's got a grill as well as the main oven function. I wouldn't say it doesn't get as hot as a household oven. You need to have it on for a bit to really heat it up, but it cooks food perfectly, and it means we can have all manner of home cooked meals whilst we're travelling. I love the fact as well the handle on the front you can dry your towels on. It's just excellent. It works really well. This piece here has been a major lifesaver. Extra counter space. So when we were coming up with the van design, I thought it was really important to have the cooker near the door here for 2 reasons. So that you can have more light when you're cooking, but also it vents out easily. When you're cooking with gas, the fumes can build up, so you really need to think about ventilation. So the big door is one. And the second thing that really helps is our fan up here. So we have the Max Air fan. Now, we spent a lot of time looking into fans and trying to choose the right one, and we're so happy we went with this one. The Max Air fan has the benefit of you can switch it to both ways, so it can blow air in or suck air out, and it's got 10 different speeds on both these settings. So speed number 1 is very quiet, you can barely hear the fan on at all. And it's perfect for if you're cooking and you've got all the doors closed. The other thing I love it for, the gentle speed, is on really hot nights you can set it to blow air in, and it's like just having a gentle cool breeze passing over you as you're asleep. So that fan's been a really, really good investment. The other benefit, I suppose, that I didn't mention is it has a rain cover on top. So even if it's pouring with rain, we can have the fan on, which is great. So this countertop is solid wood butcher block. It's beech, and we've stained it with a mahogany stain and then varnished it to finish. Looks really nice, adds a lot of warmth to the van. So we've just got these kind of, what are they called? Folding struts here. These ones work really well. They've got little clips on them. Down it goes. Perfect. So when you're cooking, a real benefit here is this creates a splashback to catch all the splashes and the heat reflection as well. So on this side we had to think carefully about what we were going to put here. So this is a home base. Is it home base? No, it's B&Q.
It's from B&Q, just stainless steel.
This is a B&Q standard cooker splashback that we've just cut to size and screwed directly in place. It's supposed to fix up with hooks, which I can't do that in a van, so works really well. Wipes clean easily and stops the wood getting burnt in the fan. Area 2 in the kitchen is more prep area plus our kitchen sink. So again, this works. We've got quite a lot of counter space here, and we try to keep it quite deep as well, which works really well for preparing veggies, making breakfast, things like that. It's a really nice usable space. We love, love, love this tile splashback. It's not real tile, it's vinyl peel and stick flooring. Waterproof, really easy to install, and it looks great. Another nifty little thing we've installed here is this. So this is a pull-out piece of countertop. So this just extends our workspace, which can be a real lifesaver if you're trying to cook a full meal in a van. There's not always a lot of space to put extra bowls and plates and things, so just having this bit here that pulls out is just great. Beneath that we have our cutlery drawer. Long story short, there was a beam and a bit in the way and the counter went in squint. So we've done our best to modify it. We put the drawer front on flush with the counter, but when you open it you'll see the correction we had to make. We had an issue with this drawer the first couple of weeks in that it would open itself every time we took a right turn. So we've installed this latch here and that fixed the problem completely. Next onto our sink. We installed our own waste, so we put a proper plug hole in because the one it came with was very dodgy. Around this was one of these temporary fixes that wound up being permanent. We've just used elastic bands here because these bottles like to fly about as you drive, so we've got hand soap, dish soap. Moving on from the sink, we have this tap here. Now this is a brilliant piece of kit. It pulls out. We've got a switch here for the water pump, so that turns it off and on. So we turn it on when we're stationary, and you'll hear it. So it keeps the pressure really well, I'll not waste all our water. But we've got a 95 litre fresh tank under the bed. Now we decided to keep the fresh water tank inside the van because if we ever go to somewhere that's really cold, we do not need the fresh water freezing, so that keeps it nice and warm. It's close to the sink, it's literally just here. And we fill that up via a hatch that we've put in the outside of the van, so there's a small inlet on the outside, so you can just take a hose pipe and fill it up. You'd never know there was a tank in there. The sink drains down into a grey water tank that's on the outside of the van, so it's fitted to the chassis underneath. Now that's a 55 litre grey tank, so it's around about half the size of the freshwater tank. The reason we went smaller with the grey tank is because we don't actually have enough space for a bigger one. We would have got a bigger one if we could, but we were limited by the space under the van. The brilliant thing, the thing I love the most about this tap, so it comes out, if you've got the sink full of dirty dishes, you can take it over here and fill up your water bottles. You can actually take it out, you can wash your hair in the sink. We do not have a shower in the van, so that works really well. And it's got a shower function, so that works really well for rinsing hair, rinsing hands, anything really. Next up in the kitchen tour we have our Dometic, I think it's around 85 litre fridge. We went for the biggest fridge we could fit in this tiny little van because we love food and we like to take a lot with us. And it's actually a similar size fridge to the one we had in our student flat where we used to live. So we find there's plenty of room in there to store things. The fridge is fixed into place. We've got a what's it called? A ratchet. The fridge is fixed into place with a ratchet strap around it so it doesn't walk as we drive. And I'll show you inside. Plenty of room for drinks, milk, for all the important Italian pizza, pasta, and it's got a freezer box at the top to store ice cream. Amazing. It works so well. We're blown away by how well this thing works. It does make a bit of noise when it's cooling. It is a compressor fridge, and the first few nights we were in the van I was freaking out. I was wondering what on earth it was. It's just this kind of click and a hum it makes, but it only does that as it's getting down to temperature, and then it's silent the rest of the time. Two more features I absolutely love about this fridge. The handle, you push it down to open, it clicks into place and it holds itself closed. So if you're doing a bumpy dirt road and something hits against it, it's not going to open on you. And it's also got a little thing that flips around and holds it open. So if you're in storage, say the van's in storage and you need to leave the fridge empty, you're not going to come back to a mouldy, nasty fridge. It stays open. It's just brilliant. We love that fridge. So this area of the kitchen now. We had a little bit of space beside the cooker here, so we were wondering what to do with it. It's just where the countertop is, and you need, when you install these cookers, there's a certain amount of space, of air gap you need to leave either side. So we've put a little door on, and that works really well to hold our oven mitts in place. We've installed this pull-out towel rail. Now there's not as much room as I'd hoped. We can only really store one tea towel on it, but it's quite nice to store the spare one, and that tucks away. And in there as well, we've got room for storing things like trays and chopping boards. So that works really well. And you may have noticed these three doors here. So this is one of our design features that I'm really, really pleased with. A lot of vans, it's a small space. You don't have a lot of room to store food. You don't have much floor space, but you have a lot of height in this van. So we figured, why not make use of that height and install a pull-out pantry. You can get a surprising amount of food in here. We've got our pasta and bananas and beans and lentils and things. It's brilliant. So much space, and the drawers themselves are on soft close runners. And they lock themselves in. We've never once had one of these open as we've been driving. So we've got 3 layers to that. So loads of storage for dried goods. Next up on the kitchen tour, we have 2 upper cabinets. So this just kind of extends the storage space. We had to really think carefully about everything we were bringing. So think about what you need day to day cooking in a kitchen, and we had to make it all fit into these 2 cupboards. So we have the cupboard doors on gas struts, so they can open themselves. And we have a mess in here basically. Over here we have our coffee making stuff, coffee cups, kitchen scales, trying to make a break for freedom. We have our pasta pot, coffee pour over, little mixing bowl. We've got a water filter jug, the washing up bowl, a big cooking pot, plates, bowls, our favourite kettle here. Things like kitchen towel, of course it's Halloween so we had to go for the spooky kitchen towel. Tortilla chips, all the essentials, all muddled together in this cupboard. We're now moving on from kitchen to the kitchen/bathroom area. So, this is a bit of a funny cupboard, it's a bit of a catch-all. We've got our dustbin here, that holds a good amount of waste, that can do half a week or so. We've got general cleaning supplies, and you may have noticed the toilet paper on the door. That's what brings us on to the bathroom section. But I'll finish up the kitchen tour first. We have our water pump, accumulator, and all the pipe work. So draining out of the sink, we have this trap. So this stops smells coming back up from the tank. It's a one-way valve, nothing splashes back up. It's great. So we built this toilet ourselves. It's framed from plywood, and we've got some beams as well supporting it. So we bought this separating unit. So it works by you wee in the front and poo goes in the back. So the front's plumbed in. So when you wee in through that hole there, the wee drains down. We've got a one-way valve system so nothing can splash back up. And that goes down the same pipe as the final drainage for the sink. So right at the bottom before it goes through the floor, the pipes join together to form one, and that goes down into the grey tank. So our grey tank is a mixture of smelly water from the sink and wee. So this kind of brings us on to all that mixed together is completely biodegradable, but we only use dump stations to dispose of the grey tank because it smells really bad, it's unpleasant, and we want it to make sure it goes into a sewage drain so it's not disturbing anyone. Wee goes down the front. This is a bung here that keeps all the smells in the box, so we just pull that up when we need to poop, and that goes in the back there. Nobody wants to see in there. So inside this box has sealant around all the edges so no smells can get out, and we open it, we've got this little catch here to stop it opening by itself whilst you're driving, and that just opens like that so you can get to the bucket. We've tied that in place, we keep black bin bags in there, and also to stop it from smelling I'll just close that up. Every time we go to the toilet we add a bit of some cat litter or sawdust or whatever we have to hand that helps dry everything out, and that really keeps the smells at bay. We can go for, I'd say, kind of 4 to 7 days using this toilet all the time before we really need to empty it. So it works really well. It means that we can just keep travelling without having to worry about stopping and emptying the toilet all the time. So it's a big win from us. So we may not have a shower in the van, but we do have this. So this is a camping shower. So it works, it charges off the USB and it's got a little pump in it. So you just submerge that in water, switch it on, and it comes with a little shower head attachment that you screw together. So that screws on there. It works really well. It was really cheap. It works great. You can heat the water up, we'll heat it up on the stove, and then you can stand outside, and we've got a green trunk, a big green trunk that you can stand in. So on warm days we can have a shower outside. Yeah, it's perfect. When it's too cold to shower outside, we can bring the trug into the van and we stand in that to catch all the drips, and we can just shower at the sink, a sponge bath. You can wash your hair over the basin. You can sit on there and put your head over, and that works pretty well. What we tend to do though is if we're needing a shower, we try and go to the gym or go to a swimming pool and use the showers there to have a really good wash. So this brings us on to the bedroom. So one of the benefits of the Ford Transit is it's just about long enough for us both to sleep widthways. We didn't have to have the bed round lengthways, so it meant we have more room in the kitchen and things, which is nice. It's 170 centimetres, so Scott just about fits. And I'm quite comfortable. If you're any taller than that, you would not fit comfortably in this bed. We built the bed ourselves. It's wooden. We used wooden beams, 3 of them across the way, and then wooden slats on top. We've put carpet on the walls because carpet's way lighter than wood panelling, and it conforms more to the walls, so it maximises the space in the bedroom, and it just adds a bit of comfort here. You may notice this funny beam up here. We had planned to put a shelf above the bed. We've not got round to that, so that's why that's sitting there. At the end of the bed here we have these cupboards for clothes storage. So in each of them, we've got them colour coded, mine and Scott's. We've got a big box for general clothes, we've got some compression cubes, and then we've got these bags here that store our dirty laundry. So that works really well. It's a bit of a mess just now, everything kind of gets thrown in, but it keeps it tidy enough to get in use, and we've carpet lined that cupboard as well to keep it soft and kind of clean. And then over here we have hanging space. So this is our wardrobe. We've got room for jackets, dresses, shirts, a little bit of room for shoes down there as well, and we keep the shopping bags in there as well. Down below the main wardrobe we each have an underwear drawer. So pants and socks. And then down here we have a cupboard for shoes. The final piece of kit for the bedroom, which I love, is our full-length mirror.
Hello.
So that's on runners, and that's really good for checking your outfit when you're getting ready to go out. Tucks away out the way. So that's our mirror there. So this brings us on to the control panels we have up here. So the first being the control panel for our Propex heater. So down here Under the cooker, we've installed a gas heater. So that blows out hot air here, and it has been a lifesaver, especially in Germany when it was getting really cold. You can turn that on and it gets the van warm within minutes. The bit under the cooker, the box under the cooker, is completely sealed, so we can't show you in there because that's a gas safety regulation. It needs to be sealed up if any gas leaks. We've got 2 vents in the floor, one at the back, one at the front, so the gas will leak down and outside the van and not into the living space, which is really important. Another point I should mention from the heater is over here. We have a carbon monoxide detector. Now the gas safety inspector instructed us to put this at kind of head height when you're sitting, because apparently that's the best height to have them at. So that was the only space we had that wasn't in the way, so that's there for peace of mind. So that's the control panel for our gas heater, that just turns it on. This is the switch for the inverter, so I'll let Scott do the full electrics tour. But basically this gives us power like you'd have in a house, and that just switches on like that. So we can plug in computers, coffee grinders, all the essentials. This one here is for our water. So we've got a freshwater and grey water sensor on the tanks. So this one will glow red when the grey water tank's getting full, or it will glow red when you've been on a bumpy road and some water splashes on the sensor. So the way to tell that the tank's full is you have to wait a few hours after you've driven, and if the light remains on, then it's getting full. You press the button here for the fresh water and you can see it's lighting up the 2 dots here. So we're just a little below halfway full for the freshwater tank, so that's great, so you don't have to crawl under the bed to see how much water's in it. We can tell from that. And this last sensor here is for our gas tank. We have a toroidal gas tank fitted to the underside of the van in the spare wheel well, so that's over under the bed. It's a big round thing. It fits about 55 litres of gas, and that should last us 6 months to a year depending on how often we use it. It was a nightmare to install, would 100% not recommend it unless you really know what you're doing, and that you have all the equipment to hand, which we did not have. For interest, go and check the gas installation videos. But this is the sensor for the tank. So you press it and the light comes on, you can see it's completely full. We've been using the gas daily, 3 meals a day for a month, as well as the heater, and we've not even scratched the surface of it, so it's great. So the last 2 cupboards we haven't had a look in is this end cupboard here and this big cupboard here. Now this kind of is the bathroom supplies cupboard. So we've got all our moisturiser, toothbrushes. That's the bowl we use if we're washing faces, because I don't really want to use the smelly kitchen sink to wash my face. So we've got our sponges and things. All fits in there really nicely. And then we have the end cupboard here. So this is just the space that was above the cab anyway. We thought we might as well make extra storage. It's a catch-all for anything we don't have space for. So we've got window covers, wash bags, spare laptop, electrics. That's our little pharmacy, so any medications and things go in there. So when it comes to powering our electrical devices, we have numerous outlets around the van. So this has a general 12 volt, so that's like your cigarette charger for the car, so you can plug in things that are powered off that. And then at the top here we have 2 USBs. So that's quite handy there because it's above the seats. We also have one, now I love this one, it's very hidden away. Behind the tortilla chips, we have one hidden away in the cupboard as well. So we have a toothbrush charger attached to that one. So at the end of the bed here we have various bits and pieces. We've got the general control switch for the lights, I'll come back to that. We have power outlet here, so 12 volt, USB, perfect for charging your phone at night. That's where we can plug in just normal household appliances, so that's what we have the inverter for, which Scott will get into. And here we have a remote control for the fan, which is amazing. On a hot night, you're lying in bed, you can just reach over and grab the remote, turn the fan on. And over on the other side of the bed, we have this tiny little table here with another outlet so I can charge my phone, and there's just enough room for you to pop your book at night. We had some dead space behind the cupboard, so we put little doors on, and in there we store our extra blanket. It's actually massive. So there's a few things about our van that are very different to your standard van build. The first being there's no table and chairs. So we did that on purpose because we value cooking space and countertop space above seating space. It's just a personal choice, not for everyone. The van itself is a fairly big van, but it's not as long as an extended kind of wheelbase thing that you can fit tons of seating and things in. So we thought to maximise the living space, we'll install swivel seats at the front of our van. These seats, which are second-hand from an old T4, we've modified the 4 transit bases so that they'll fit. So Scott fit 2 iron bars across and we bolted the seats in place. So I'll show you how they work. There's a little handle on the side and they're quite stiff, so you really do want to be sitting with them to pull them round. There we go. So that's the passenger seat. So there, straight away you've got plenty of room to sit. Now we'll move on to the driver's seat. So the driver's seat was a bit more tricky because we've got this handbrake in the way. So we had to physically take the handbrake off the bracket, lower the thing down and fix it back on again so that we could use this seat. Now the seat goes up and down for driving, so you have to make sure it's in the up position. You have to make sure that the van's in gear so that we don't roll away. Take the handbrake off, pull the handle, push really hard, and round you go. So this is our living room area. We sit here to do most of our work, to eat dinner. It's a lovely space and we get plenty of light from the cab. So this brings me on to the next part of the build. You may notice there's no windows in the back of our van. Now, to a lot of people that's seen as a major downside. They want windows, you want to see out, you want to let the light in. And whilst I agree with that, we decided not to go for windows from the beginning. And I'm really glad that we didn't put them in. First reason is stealth camping. So we've parked up in the middle of busy cities and nobody would know we're in here because you can't see the windows in the side. It looks like a normal panel van. You can't see any light coming from in it. So it makes us a lot more stealthy. It gives us more privacy in the back. When you close off the cab area, you have no idea there's people in here. Really, really nice. Second reason it's really good we don't have windows is for temperature control. So the heat of the summer, when it's boiling hot in the cab and outside, it's cool in the back of the van because the windows would let in the sun, which would heat up the van. And the same for the cold days in winter. We've insulated the walls with PIR board and sheep's wool, so it's really well insulated. So, for example, last night it was freezing outside. It was actually really warm in the van, just from our body heat. We didn't even need the heater. So that works really well for our needs. There's always a scope to put in windows later if we want them, but for now, we're glad we don't have them. Windows provide an entry for thieves. You just smash a window and you're in. So without windows, we feel a bit more safe leaving our van places. It's a bit more difficult to get here. We have this lovely curtain here that my mum made. It's double layered and it works great. You just pull it across the cab and it keeps all the heat of the day in there. It works so well, and the same at night. It keeps it nice and cool through there and warm in here. So that's the curtain, and we also have these window covers as well. So they're a padded material. The shiny side reflects the sun rays out, and they just stick on with these rubber cups, and that keeps the cab really cool in summer as well as warm in winter as well. So this is the main switch for our lights. It's weird. We didn't really think it through when we installed it, but the light switch beside the bed means that you can just turn it on. But the lights don't actually come on until you tap them. So we have all these puck lights in the ceiling, so they're tap on and off. So if you touch the metal around the outside, they turn on, they turn off. We've got 2 above the bed, 2 in the main living area, and 1 above the cooker here. So the lights can go on and off independently, which is fantastic if you're just wanting to see your way to the toilet. Oh, I forgot we have one here as well, which is brilliant for lighting up this area when you're cooking at night time. So you can turn them all on and off independently, or you can switch them all off at once using this switch. The only thing that we didn't realise would happen is we thought the lights would hold their state and you switch them back on, but they don't. They don't come back on until you tap. It's fine.
Now I'll tell you about the electrics. The heart of our electrical system is made from these 2 110 amp hour 12 volt lithium batteries. So that gives us 220 amp hours in total. To charge them, we have 3 ways to charge them. Firstly, we can charge our batteries with 2 175 watt solar panels that are on the roof, come through this. We can plug the batteries in and charge them just from regular household AC. Or we can also charge them off of the van itself. When we're running, we can just take power from the van's battery and alternator. The most efficient use of power is to run things straight off of the batteries. And that's why we have a 12 volt fuse panel at the far end over there. That's what we run our lights, our USB sockets from, so we can charge most of our devices off that. But if it doesn't work that way, if we need to use a regular household plug, we have our inverter. This turns the DC battery power into AC, just like you get in your house. So we can run any appliance that uses power up to 1200 watts. Here we have our 95 litre water tank. It is beside the electrics. We know that's not the best combination, but you end up running out of space for things in a van. So we've had to put it here, and we've made sure that it can be as safe as possible. As well, under here is where our gas pipe comes in from our gas tank. Comes in through here, runs up along the wall and over to where the cooker was. As well, under here we have just all of our things. For example, this telescopic ladder. We wanted to be able to get onto the roof easily, but we don't want a ladder on the van itself, because then people can just climb that thing. So telescopic ladder, we carry it in here. We have a box of extra clothes, things like winter clothes, whatnot. We have an extra toolbox. We have our main toolbox, some yoga mats, pop-up tub.
That's a collapsible bucket.
Yep. We have an extra tub of stuff, got some wetsuits in there, adventure clothes. To fill our water tank, we fill it up through a little inlet on the side of the van. We have 2 ways to do it. Firstly, if we can't get the van too close to the tap, we will use this funnel and this collapsible jerry can. Fill up the jerry can, funnel in the side, pour it in. Simple. If we can get the van close to the tap, we have a really handy hose. This is a hose that's designed for potable water, so you can drink the water that's flowing through this without worrying. The great thing about this trug basin that we use to wash up is we can just put all of our freshwater fill-up things in it. Sit them there, and we don't have to worry about drips. This is where we fill up from an AC connection. This is where we fill up our water. And this is how we fill up our gas. As part of our upgrades to the van, we changed the old factory radio for this lovely double din Apple Play car stereo. It connects to a camera that we installed on the back of the van that turns on when we put it into reverse. So we now have a backup camera as well, which is really useful for a van this size.
Up above the sliding door here we have all these hooks kind of fixed to the wall. So that's a twofold reason. The first is you can hang things up like towels and clothing to dry and wet jackets, which is perfect. Here's the second reason. Yeah, so this is just a standard bug net that you'd fit over a door. It works really well when we're parked up somewhere where there's loads of mosquitoes. We can get some air in, but without them coming in. It's got a magnetic strip down the middle, so you can still get in and out of the van, and that just closes itself up automatically. It's great.
We hope you've enjoyed our van tour.
And if you have any particular interest in any aspect of the build, we filmed the whole thing, so there's a specific video for every part of the build. So if you go back to the van build series, you should be able to find it there.
If you still have any questions though, get in touch. We'd love to chat.
We are coming to the end of our travels now, but we are so thankful for how well this van has served us. We can't imagine a better way to explore Europe. And as ever, thanks for watching.